Just want to let everybody know it's good seeing you guys. Welcome back. Um, Hopefully all your families are remaining safe and healthy throughout this entire process. With us, we're grinding and chopping away. We're just taking advantage and making the most of all the opportunities that we have with this new technology. I will say this, I got one thing I do have to admit, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this when I say this. I have never checked so many work emails ever in my life, but I have. But we're taking advantage of all the installs that we're getting in and, interacting with the guys. The guys have been focused. They've been right on point, and, it's just been exciting just to get this thing started. So with that saying, fellas, ladies, hey, let's hit the ground running. Let's roll.
All right, we'll start with Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, how are you, man?
Good. How you doing?
I'm well, thanks. I'm sure this is going to come up, but I just want to go ahead and ask it up front. The NFL is tweaking the Rooney Rule, and I'm curious on your reaction to how the league is addressing minority hires. How much do you agree with the process that they're putting in place now, and then just your overall reaction to it?
Well, my overall reaction is going to remain the same. I am blessed and fortunate to be placed in this opportunity and been given the situation, okay? One thing, as a coach, you always want to be judged based upon your own merit. So at the end of the day, the best coach is going to be hired. So that's what I do. I coach football, but when it's all said and done with, I can't control all the controllables. The only thing that I can control is where we're at right now and what we're doing. And that's making sure that we are mentally prepared for whenever we have that opportunity to get back on the field together.
Let's go to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about Clyde, and first of all, how you see the backfield situation shaking out. I know it's early, but just wondering what you guys sort of envision as far as how you're going to split the workload back there. And also, when you don't have the rookie mini camps, I mean, what is the legitimate difficulty in a rookie like that who maybe you're going to feature prominently, not knowing maybe some things that you'd be hands-on with them normally at this time of year?
Well, one thing is Veach and his entire staff did a great job of evaluating the kid. Collectively, as a coaching staff, we felt we did a great job of evaluating the talent. But on top of that, and I think this is more important than anything, we know the person. And we know one thing that kid is going to do. He's going to come in and work his tail off. Now, he's just going to be a piece of the puzzle. You got Damian Williams, who did a hell of a job for us last year. He's also going to have an opportunity to play with one of his former teammates. And then we have Darwin. And then we got the young kid out of that played with the Oakland Raiders and DeAndre Washington. So we have a unique situation where he can come in and have an opportunity to learn from a collective group. But also, we want to make sure we're utilizing him the right way and making sure that he's mentally prepared to go when it's time to go.
Okay, let's go to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
Coach, I know you talked about the caliber of person on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. One of the biggest things transition-wise for a college back is to block, to figure out the blocking schemes, who he's supposed to block, how to do it. Seemed like it was kind of mixed messages from a lot of people. Some people said he really was a good blocker. Other people said that was his big weakness. What do you think of his blocking skills as he comes into the league?
Well, we've had this discussion with him, and you know what? Sometimes you see college kids put some good stuff on tape. Sometimes you see them put some poor stuff on tape. The thing that we do know is that he does have the willingness to block, and he understands that's a huge asset that's going to help him moving forward to getting him on the field and contributing to what we do on our side of the ball. But one thing I will say, he does have the attitude mindset to get it done. So I'm not concerned with that. Coach Dillon's going to do a great job of making sure that he's physically prepared to get that done.
Okay, let's go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Adam?
Good, thanks. Appreciate it. Was wondering, you talked about the depth you guys have at running back for sure, but is there something that Clyde brings to that room that maybe you guys didn't have last season?
Hey, I think the kid is just a special kid. You've seen some of the things that he's done on tape as far as running the ball, having the ability to get outside in the open field. and make some plays as a receiver. You can create matchups with him. He's one of those ideal kids that fit in what we do. So having him a part of the puzzle, I mean, think about it. He gets to go out there and play with a Pat Mahomes, a Travis Kelce. He gets an opportunity to learn from a Damian Williams. He gets an opportunity to learn from a DeAndre Washington. He gets an opportunity to play with Sammy Watkins and all those guys. So I think with his talent and also his attitude and his determined mindset and the professionalism that he brings to the organization, I think that's going to help him to be even better. So I think the kid got some special traits, but I also believe that our players are going to help him to grow to become even more of a special contributor when it's all said and done with.
Okay, let's go to James Palmer. Go ahead, James.
Eric, I hope you're well. I know you commented a little bit with Herbie about the best coach gets the gig, but I kind of want to follow up where opportunity still plays a part as well. So what's your thought on kind of the fellowship being expanded? That's kind of how Byron Leftwich got his name in by working with Bruce and then working the way up and doing with coordinators. So just getting the opportunity at a lower level seems to be expanded. Kind of want your comment on that.
Well, I think there are plenty of candidates that are more than qualified. I think one thing that popped up was, some coaches now, assistant coaches, are going to have an opportunity to interview. I think that's huge. I think that's huge across the board, regardless of skin color. It doesn't make a difference, Now you get an opportunity to interview the best football coach for that particular position. I think one thing is that with all this discussion being brought to the table, it just opened up different doors for many different people. And like I said, when it's all said and done with, my job is to make sure I'm focused on what we're doing. But yes, I am happy that was passed so those guys can have an opportunity. But understanding that, hey, I got a job to do. We'll focus on what we need to get better at this particular time and what's going to make us the best team when we have an opportunity to hit the ground running.
Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Eric. Thanks for doing this.
Can I say this real quick? Do you guys feel like the Brady Bunch? I'm sitting here trying to find you guys.
I'm right here. I hope you're doing well. I hope you can find me. Eric, I know this may sound silly to some degree, but looking back at last year, how many times have you realized or been told from players, fans that you guys, one, never run another quarterback sneak once Patrick got hurt and you guys were still able to win the Super Bowl? And what about the idea of not, using a quarterback sneak in short yardage situations? You guys were able to still be really successful in the postseason using a variety of players. Can you just speak to the idea of maybe never having to run another quarterback sneak in the future, and just the idea of how the offense has advanced so much that you guys can still be at an advantage despite using one of the more conventional short yardage plays?
One thing, we have a very, very creative coaching staff. And I've always said this. I'm blessed and fortunate to have an opportunity to work with Coach Reed. And one thing that we have, our motto is to remain flexible in anything and everything that we do. So we're going to try and create the best situation for us regardless of what's taking place or what has happened. And so we just want to make sure that we're utilizing all of our personnel and giving us the best opportunity to go out there and be successful. Yeah, obviously, when you think of the quarterback sneak, obviously everybody remembers what took place in Denver. But one thing I do remember is having an opportunity to run a few short yardage plays in the Super Bowl where my man Pat dropped that shoulder. And I don't know if he necessarily laid the wood, but he laid some wood or took some wood, and he found a way to get it done. But he's a competitive kid. He's going to do whatever he can. And the beauty of our guys is that, hey, they know, regardless of situation, whoever is called upon, all right, to perform in whatever moment we're putting them in, their job is to be accountable and find a way to get the job done.
All right, guys, we're getting short on time, so we probably have time for a few more. Let's go BJ, Pete, and then Matt, Derek. Go ahead, Pete. Or I'm sorry, go ahead, BJ.
I still muted? Okay.
Oh, you're good.
All right. Coach, I know that everybody's asking you about your time and your role as offensive coordinator with the Chiefs. I want to ask about your role as running back in the University of Colorado and the national championship team being the 30-year anniversary. How much, I know that, every time there's an anniversary like this, it has to give you some special memories, but what have you got going on? Is there anything planned for that? And how fondly do you still think back on those memories, obviously coming off a Super Bowl and reaching the highest level of this level of football?
I tell you what, it's kind of ironic that question has come up because this past weekend or last Friday, a bunch of us from our national championship team had a Zoom call. So it was one of those calls that, first of all, was a great time. Just reconnecting with a number of guys, also catching up with them. But some of the stories that were told were unreal. And some of the stories you don't want ever to get out there. But it was a great time. Guys had a great time just rehashing all the different things that took place throughout the course of that year. But it's always a special moment when you can rehash and think about the past because if it wasn't for the past, it wouldn't help shape the future. But I will say this, and I got to let you guys in on this part of the story. So I've been finding myself, which has been great. I walk probably about 5.5 to 6 miles at least 5 days a week. And so I'm walking through our neighborhood. I've discovered more of our neighborhood than any time in my life since I've been here in Olathe, Kansas. But I'm walking through my neighborhood, and this guy, he's cutting his grass, okay? And he stops his lawnmower. He comes running out. And I'm like, man, am I going to have to fight this man? So, but come to find out, he gives the exact date, and it's a shame. I can't recall the date. But he gives me the exact date, the exact time of the fifth down deal against Missouri. I'm like, man, are you guys ever going to allow us to live this down? I mean, but it was hilarious. It was funny, but I will say this, it's good to be remembered for a lot of good things, but also too, I hate the fact that in this state where we are and working with the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm pretty much reminded about the fifth down more than anything than the national championship.
All right, let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hi, Eric. Thank you for taking some time with us. Hope you're all right. I was curious about Sammy Watkins. You'd mentioned him and everything that sort of emerged a week ago about maybe some mixed feelings about his usage and things like last year. I was wondering your reaction to some of that stuff that came out and then how you have conversations with the player to sort of coach that up and deal with it.
Well, one of the first things I enjoyed the article. And one thing you guys got to understand is players go through a lot of different highs and lows. There's a lot of pressure that players receive when playing this game outside of what we do. And so I'm not going to divulge on any of our conversations, but I love Sammy. I love the way he comes to work every single day. I am very blessed and fortunate that we're bringing him back. He's a big, huge part of what we do. And I'm actually proud that he allowed people to get to know him because he's a beautiful kid. He's a hardworking kid. And the only thing that he wants to do, he wants to be great. And I think more than anything, I think if everybody can take that and just feel just his urgency to want to express how hard it is to achieve those goals, just listen to him. He's allowing everybody into who he is, but he just wants people to know that he wants to be the player that he was expected to be. And we love him because of that.
All right, Coach, we've got two more hands that are up here. That one of them that we got to get in here, but let's start with Matt, Derek, then we'll close it out with Adam. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to let you know I almost wore my fifth down T-shirt today just for you and
I
Coach
see you
Joe.
Got your misery gear on.
It's got zeros on the clock and 31:27, but hey, I wanted to ask about the offensive line because you're bringing back 4 of your 5 starters from the Super Bowl. Left guard really the only position that's up there. You got Andrew coming back, but you've added Mike Remmers and Brett Veach has mentioned Lucas Niang might be in the mix. How open is that competition to you, and what do you think of the new guys that you're bringing in there on the line?
We're very fired up about the guys that we're bringing back. We're fired up about the new additions that we have. We just want to make sure that we're sound at every position, and we're going to create competition. And when it's all said and done with, Coach had myself, Coach Reed, we're going to make sure that we're putting the best 5 out there that gives us the best chance. And you know, in this in this industry, you can't have enough good O linemen. And so we just want to make sure that we're stockpiling on depth, but also creating a competitive atmosphere so we can get the best 5 on the field at any given time.
Okay, Adam, go ahead and close us out.
Hey, no fifth down questions, Eric, at least not today. I wanted to ask you what you knew or what you know about your 2 young development quarterbacks since you've had them in. And also, I'd like to hear in your words, what's in it for those guys to come here to this team when the starting quarterback job is locked up for a long time?
Well, one thing I will say, Jordan and Shea they've been very, very good in the meetings. They've been very, very receptive to the information that we're providing them, but also, too, they've been asking a lot of great questions. Mike Kafka has done a heck of a job, Joe Blameyer. And one thing, when we're sitting in that room, when we're sitting in those meetings, we want all our guys to be interactive. You know, one thing that they'll have an opportunity to gain from being here is, first of all, they get to learn a lot. We have a very, very unique and diverse offense. On top of that, they get to watch how Pat Mahomes works as a professional. And I think more importantly, they get an opportunity to work with a Chad Henne who's been around for a very, very long time and has provided some outstanding leadership qualities within that room. So those are the things that I think those guys gain from being here and a part of our family.
Coach, we appreciate you joining us. Thanks for your time. Hopefully we get to see you soon.
All right. Thank you, guys. Guys, hey, stay healthy and stay safe, please.